again, and to spread out disease. Brace yourselves and come.
Come on in. So I'm Mike, and Core of Absurdity. The name of the bus is Easy Wind, named after the Grateful Dead song. I heard it on the radio one day when I was cruising, and I was like, yeah, that's the one that fits.
Yeah.
That was the name it had to be.
I keep telling people that buses and cats will let you know what their name is eventually.
Hey, right. So this is a 98 International. I got the DT 466E. Had an Allison 545, swapped it for the Allison 2000, which is really nice. It was great. And I managed to get the transmission fairly cheap, and installed it myself. Had to go back to International, program it, and things like that. But man, what a difference! It's beautiful.
Yep.
Love it. 466E. Love that engine too. Hopefully, it all stays together.
How many people know how to use that?
Right. There's a handful of us, right? That's old school. I actually put that there for the young children, the 2 and 3 year olds that come in, and I want them to grow up and say, I remember a phone like that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So yeah, and they do. They come in and they play with that thing. It's great.
It'd be great if you could hook it up to a recorder or a loop, that when it comes up, there's somebody talking to them.
Talking. That would be brilliant.
Yeah.
That would be
This
awesome.
is a bus.
Yeah. Heck yeah. I should do something like that. That's a good idea. I like that.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to have it like somewhat connected somehow, you know. But
I don't know how to do it. I just know it shouldn't be that hard.
no, my older brother's really good with stuff like that, so he'd probably be able to do something.
Yep.
Yeah. I love the old phones. I'm kind of a collector of them. I have another one up there. I used to have one over there on the dash. I have this one, which I haven't hung yet. That one's going to have to go up at some point.
I took one of those and turned it into a butt set for diagnosing phone problems. I could clip it in.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, I wasn't going to spend a couple $100 on a butt set when I could take a Princess phone and
Yeah.
a couple of Eleator clips and.
That's great. Oh
So.
my God. Anyway, well, hey, welcome aboard. I'm happy to have you here.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody's sunglasses. I'm gonna have to return those. Anyway, the idea behind this build was cheap, and you know, I didn't want an RV. I wanted a bus. I wanted this. I've had RVs. They just fall apart, and you know. But again, one of my things was cheap. The couch cushions came right off a couch in my basement, and I got about $25–30 max into the 2 couches. They're super comfortable. It was an Ethan Allen couch. It's like 30 years old, but it was great. And yeah, the cushions were free. So,
Yep.
And that was a win. Coming back, really the second thing in the bus was the wood stove, because I built it in the winter, and I had a kerosene heater I was using that did not cut the mustard. I was going to install a propane heater out of a RV. But the thing kept screwing up, and I was doing all the diagnostics and trying to get the propane heater to work. And I'm like, what the heck am I doing?
Yeah, at some point.
Simple, and this is a no-brainer. I'm like, boom. And then I looked at the cost of wood stoves, and the tiny stoves were $1,000. I'm like, no, that's not happening either. So I decided to build my own. It's a 30-pound propane tank. This is actually the exhaust pipe that I cut off the back of the bus, since I shortened the exhaust because I need to put water tanks underneath. This here is a piece of standard 6-inch stove pipe. And then this is one of those caps. I cut a hole in the cap, the pipe goes straight through that, and inside here is high temp ceramic insulation that handles 2,000 degrees. As well as in this bay right here, I pulled out all the fiberglass, and this is high temp ceramic insulation inside this bay right here.
All right. Now, do you have any problem with insurance, having the wood stove? Because I've been hearing a lot of people.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yes, my insurance company is awesome, and they were like, yeah, send us pictures, just don't include the wood stove in the pictures.
There you
That's
go.
how that went. And which is cool. So, yeah, they were, yeah.
I had to ask.
Yeah, no, very, very, very valid question. Yeah, just don't, yeah. I only have basic liability on the bus, so even if this thing burned up, the insurance company is not going to do anything for me.
Same with mine.
Yeah.
When I got mine, I had the crack in the windshield, and the agent went, oh, and I went, liability. He said, you're good.
Yeah, exactly. Mine, for me, the insurance is because for legality purposes and in the event that there's an accident. That's it. Other than that, anything major happens.
Our buses are 20-something years old.
And we know how to fix and build.
Yeah, if you're going to get collision and stuff on it, you can get renter's insurance for the contents if you want to, but
yeah, they wanted a big, huge breakdown for me if I was to do the, you know, that whole thing. Like it would just be itemized. It was all photographed. There was a lot of things to do, and I was like, no, that's not happening. I knew that everything in here, I'm like, to me, it's like all replaceable.
As long as me and the cat get out, we're good.
Yeah, bingo. That's it.
It's just a bunch of stuff.
And I'm also very safety conscious. I have a smoke detector. I have a carbon monoxide detector.
Yep.
I have seat belts. There's seat belts under every one of these couches. They're bolted to the floor in a proper manner. I mean, they're like, it's all good.
Right.
So we don't often use any of that, but the smoke alarm will go off often when I'm cooking.
Yeah, well, we all know that smoke alarms need a bacon mode.
Yeah, right. Well, it's great because what we do is we just take it off the wall and I'll stick it in the bathroom and close the door.
That's exactly what I do with mine.
It's great.
I put it down on the couch because that's below smoke level.
Okay. Yeah.
So it acknowledges that there's smoke. I know.
Yeah, but it's good to have, and it's great because you're testing your smoke alarm every time.
First time I used my generator, it was in my garage, doors wide open, there's nothing around it, but the exhaust was leaking into it, and my carbon monoxide detector went off, and I went, well, I know what's causing that. Open all the windows, turn the fans on, turn the generator off, and change how I do things.
Yeah, and that's it. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I'm always. Yeah, I would always. Yeah, I definitely recommend the smoke detector.
Oh yeah.
And the nice thing was too, since I rated RVs to like build half the bus, I just took the smoke detectors that were in them already. I took the carbon monoxide detector that was in the thing already. Like I didn't even buy it, you know.
Right.
But you can go buy them, and it's worth buying, you know. I know you agree with me on that one.
Yep.
But anyway, to finish up the wood stove, this was an aluminum frying pan, $2. I needed a front leg. I built most of the bus off the chair rail. Chair rails on both sides. Everything's pretty much bolted to the chair rails. So I knew I'd bolt the back to the chair rail, but I needed a front leg, and I went out to my scrap pile, and there was 2 bus seats that I had saved. So the front leg became one of the original bus seat legs. I actually laughed as I looked at the seat. I'm like, oh my God, it's perfect, and it's the perfect height.
Right.
So anyway, so welded it all together with a bunch of bed frame. Everything was AC stick welded. Nothing was MIG welded, which is not easy, especially when you have a shaky hand, and you don't get the best of welds. But I'll tell you what, they're all work, they're all solid, and it's been holding together. And this thing cranks. It heats the bus very nicely.
I always figured if somebody criticizes something like that, go fine, fix it.
Fix it.
Oh, I don't want to fix it. Well, then shut up.
Exactly. Well said. Well said. Yeah. But yeah, so anyway, raiding the RV though, like I said, the hood came out of an RV. I got the fan and all that. This came out of an RV. This was super. I would not be without this. This is awesome.
Yeah.
But even the propane lines, all the propane lines came out of an RV too. So I didn't buy anything really. Sink was free. I got there's a on-demand water heater down here. This is a Gasland brand. I do love it. It's awesome.
Right.
I got it all marked up now that I've figured out how it all ties together. It works good. I didn't spend a lot of money. I didn't get all decorative on the cabinet. I do need to paint this. I do need to do something a little bit better, but it is what it is. We were about practicality. Functional was the main goal. Small fridge here. That's good. My favorite thing, chest freezer. Love it.
Yep.
This is, I mean, it's loaded. It's stocked. There's just, you know, and it's like a giant cooler. You know, I could run the generator, a few hours a day to maintain this, and it's fine. And it's nice. It'll take frozen water bottles, throw them in the fridge, and that helps keep the milk cold if I don't have, power or something like that. Coming from the Northeast, we don't get a lot of sun, so I didn't go with solar. I couldn't warrant the cost of the solar over the generator. Again, we did a lot of motocross. We were in high humidity, crazy summers doing motocross. I would need a ridiculous amount of solar to run AC, if you can even pull it off. It would cost me 20 grand probably. I don't even know. But
check out Santan Solar in Phoenix. Yeah, I was just looking the other day, and they had, I think it was 31 245 watt panels for $750.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a lot of power.
Yeah, that is. But what about batteries? You need like a lot of battery, right?
I bought Lion Energy lithium batteries, and they were buying them from Land Energy, they were like $1,000, but buying them from somebody else, they were like 900.
Okay.
I got 4, which is enough. I don't run air conditioning.
Okay. Interesting.
But there's other ones that are out there now. That was a couple years ago.
Okay.
There's other ones out there now that
I know as the market gets right, it's going to get better and better and better.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, and when I did the build, I did this build back in 2019, and yeah, I was looking at like,
well, and surprisingly,
10 grand.
The biggest, I just found out recently, well, last year, that the biggest deposit of lithium in this country is in the Salton Sea.
Okay.
Which is drying up, and people are like, all the resorts are gone. But if you look, like Elon Musk and some other people are buying up a lot of land with the idea of building battery factories there.
Okay.
So the price might plummet.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Or at least go down, and it's been going down.
That's what we're hoping for as time goes on. Yeah, yeah,
So,
definitely.
And I just got some land. I plan on doing a lot of solar, but I'm only gonna basically put in a smallish battery bank, because most of the time I'm gonna be using tools during the day.
Okay.
So I got all kinds of power during the day, and I just need something to keep lights and refrigerators and freezers going at night.
I hear you, and you know, yeah, you're absolutely correct. Yeah, I see that totally. It's funny because I don't have a lot of battery power, but on the times when I wanted to just conserve, and I was like, because I don't want to run the generator, I don't run it often when I'm on the road or something like that. A lot of times I'll run it when I'm driving or whatever. Because that way I don't hear it. There's a compartment underneath that stays in, and I can run it while I'm driving, which is great. But I don't have a lot of battery power. I only have one 12-volt Optima battery, but I tell you, the thing takes a beating. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I've never run it out or run it down, but everything in here is 12-volt with the exception of the coffee maker, the fridge, and the freezer.
Right.
And these Christmas lights, which I recently put up. But other than that, everything else is 12-volt, and I can... It really lasts.
That's what I do. Everything. I don't even have 110 at all.
But it's basically like an RV, because most of them really only have one deep cycle battery, maybe 2.
Yeah.
And I've really survived on it well. So, but back to what you were saying about like the nighttime power and stuff, I went with a lot of candles. We would come in, if I wanted to just preserve power, I would just, boom, I'd light a few candles. We'd play games.
I've got a little 12-volt,
Yeah.
not even 12-volt puck light.
Yeah, I was going to say LED now with the lights.
Yeah.
I mean, batteries last forever in these
I
lights.
got a little puck light that's hooked to my batteries, and one in my bed. So I'm sitting at the table, I got the one light on. When I'm cooking, I got a few of them on, so it's bright.
Yeah.
But come on, I'm sitting there reading, or I'm on my Kindle, which is lit, or watching YouTube on my phone. I don't need a lot of light.
No, and that's what I mean. And I short of the freezer or the fridge running a few hours a day or whatever, I don't need a huge amount of
my
power.
batteries have been going down to about 80 to 89%.
Okay.
And my noon, they're at 100.
I don't even know, like, I don't have something hooked up to know what my battery's at, but I go by the lights. But I'll tell you, they're bright. They're I mean, right now we're running power, but even on the battery, like, I'll turn on 4 or 5 of them, and they're on for a few hours, and I'm like, and they never even dim. I'm like, the battery's amazing. It's an Optima battery. The darn thing's amazing. Yeah. Which was cool. But I guess moving on, this bunk. So this is on. There's like a lever in the back there.
Okay.
You pull the pin here, pull the pin there, and it swings down, and then it goes to here. So that's when you would use this bunk. Right now it's up for storage. It's great to stick all the bedding. We had a couple dogs in here on a big trip. We wanted to keep them off pillows and stuff like that. We stuffed pillows up there and things like that. But with it up, it's nice because you can have people sit here, and it becomes a couch, and while we're doing like games or something, or eating at the table. Sure. So you'd have 4 there, and you'd have 2 or 3, 4 here even, which is great. We love, we did a lot of board games, and we had a good time doing that. All this hardware came out of a RV, so this drops down to a double bed. These cushions came right out of an RV. I didn't spend a nickel on them. I built this to match the cushions and the hardware and the table to match what it originally was. Right. Yeah, this used to be really nice. We had a bunch of pictures on here of all the trips and all the things, and we had it epoxy coated. And a night in New York where it hit -11, it cracked the whole thing. Yep. And it destroyed it. So anyway, that's why the table had to get stripped down, refinished. But anyway, yeah. So moving on, I got a full bath here. This closes. It's just open for ventilation purpose. It makes the bathroom not like so closed off, because when you're driving this way, you're not, you know, it keeps air temperatures, you know,
right.
Yeah, with the wood stove going or with air conditioning, at least it keeps the bathroom at a reasonable, and this way you can have the door shut.
I like the rim on the tub.
Thank you. That was a horse trough, and then yeah, that was just crappy plywood. With 2 layers there, and then we just epoxied it. I caulked everything in the back. The curtain's really extra. I mean, we need the curtain, but I caulked every seam and everything else. This wall back here, this is that like plastic fiberboard.
All right.
I love it. It was about 35 bucks a sheet when I bought it, and it was great. I did that there, and then this is all just thin plywood. Again, all these lights I took out of RVs. They're 12 volt.
Sure.
Even the switch came out of an RV. Free. Sink, same thing. This is right out of an RV. These sinks are like, they're even peanuts if you go to buy them online or something like that. But we have hot and cold water everywhere. Hot and cold water for the shower. The faucet, I like to say what I did only because if you go to price out a faucet that's designed like this, they're a fortune. But this is a slop sink faucet, and the advantage to having a slop sink faucet is it's designed to take a garden hose. So there's a washing machine hose hooked to it, you know, because most faucets don't have that threading on it.
Right.
But a slop sink does, so it's great.
Good idea.
Yeah, it's perfect. So anyway, that's connected to a washing machine hose fitting to that shower head. That shower head came with the water heater that's under the sink, and they're matched. Oh my God, it's great. We take awesome hot showers in here. I got 200 gallons of water on board. I know it's a ridiculous amount, but I love it.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. I do have a black tank, and that's an RV toilet. Again, free. I took it out of an RV, and I didn't pay a nickel for it. This is a double, obviously, but there's 2 separate mattresses there, and then this is hinged. So when I pull this mattress off of here, this can fold up. That mattress goes over there, and I can put a motorcycle in here, and I have tie-down points in the floor. I can also put one up on top of the bed as well. We've carried 4 bikes, 2 on the back deck and 2 inside. We did a lot of motocross, like I said, so
Sure.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, and yeah, that's pretty much for this whole back end. That AC does not work anymore. I'm going to replace it, I think, this year, because it was great to have. But that was one of the things about the bathroom door, was that AC was blowing. You'd want this shut.
All right.
You know, and not to mention, you don't want to flap it around when you're driving. One of the things I did do, which I think a lot of people, I retained the original, I did not remove the original bus heater. So I still have this. It's great. I will say, I recommend this to everybody, but most people remove the heaters, all the water hoses, they do this, they cap it off. When I'm driving, and that heat is coming out back here, I turn on the blower, it blows heat underneath here. I get people sitting at the dinette in 35 to 40 degree weather, and they're so happy that heat is blowing out on their feet.
Mine was in the back corner. It was all just a mess, so I tore it out.
Okay.
And I was actually talking to somebody who had like that under the seat heater. And it would fit under my stove. I have to run new hoses, but there's been days where I get done driving and the back of the bus is in the 30s and 40s. But I have a big propane heater that I can fire up, and it'll get it up in the 60s in 10 minutes.
Okay, nice.
So,
all right, yeah.
Then the diesel heater takes over. And
yes. And I don't, and I could install a diesel heater. I haven't yet. Might be a good supplement to the wood stove. Yeah. Because the wood stove, if it, if it goes out after 6 hours or something.
I turned mine on last night at like 8 o'clock, and said it had maintained right around 68, 69 all night, and then 9 o'clock this morning I turned it off. Once the sun was up and beating in the windows, I turned it off.
Nice.
So it's nice because I don't have to deal with it that much, other than I've replaced one every year for the last 3 years.
Well, hopefully
and the thing is, I come here, I give it away, and it's always the same guy takes them, and he always comes back half an hour later going, it's working.
Yeah, it's working.
It's like, I messed with this thing for 3 days. I couldn't get it to work anymore.
I hear you.
It's not worth my time to just buy another one.
Hence the reason I went with, as I was saying about the propane heater, like the one, like it needed all these things to work. Like it's like, okay,
Yeah.
you know, okay, so-and-so lit, and then just there's a sail switch that says the blower came on. So now we can add fuel. We can, first it has to spark. It says, yes, we're sparking. Then the fuel valve opens. And then after the fuel valve opens,
Right.
the thing's supposed to ignite. And did it ignite? And then the switch says, no, it didn't ignite. Yes, it did. Or, and then boom, the thing shuts off. And there's the whole computer board. And I said, man, what am I doing?
When we first bought our house, we had one in our bedroom. It was the only room that was heated. The old coal furnace, the fan didn't work. It was just, it was terrible.
Yeah.
But our bedroom was hot. Well, one night, it's 5 below, the fan kicks on, the vane didn't open up, so it just kept blowing cold air. And I woke up and it was, luckily the waterbed was heated.
Yeah.
I got up and unplugged it so the fan wasn't running.
Yeah.
And we're just, okay, we need to do something different. But yeah,
that's how it's
the downside of getting used in old stuff. Sometimes they don't quite work. But
yes, that's it.
I liked what you've done.
Thank you.
And
thank you.
thanks for the tour.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Now I'll let you get back to,
Okay.
so you don't get in trouble.
Oh, no.